Best Life Ever co-founders Kimi Morton and Pua Pakele and Cabot were drawn together by a calling, a burning desire to help people fall in love with their businesses and their lives. These fitness trainers turned corporate productivity coaches turned business coaches believe there are too many entrepreneurs with big dreams to serve the world in badass, amazing ways that end up feeling like it would be easier to just quit and go back to a real job. Ugh. Best Life Ever is more than a business. It's a radical movement to empower people to follow their dreams and expand the way they think, work, and live in today's modern world. Are you two ready to rock this? They're born ready. Oh my gosh. Boom, baby. You guys are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Thank you so much for coming.
Can you swear today?
Well, you keep it to a minimum.
Okay, good. What about our program and kind of catchphrase? It's a bad ASS.
You can say badass.
Okay. Just gotta check.
Yes.
We say it a lot.
You two were so much fun, and I loved, I met Kimi like a while back, and we had our first call, and we're like, best life ever, best day ever. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So it's just to have that energy. I love having you two on here. So thank you so much for just accepting and being here, having me on your show, and just being awesome, amazing light workers in the world, helping these business owners grow and become their greatest possible selves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honored to be here. We are pumped.
Thank you. This is just the beginning. And since it is the beginning, we dive right into the depths. And today's theme is the power of silence. So we're going to go to each of you. We'll start with Kimi since you're on my left. And we're going to say, ask you the question, what has been the power of silence? How has that made a difference for you in your coaching, in your relationships, in your self-discovery, in your connection to your soul? What has silence done for you?
Wow, I love that question. Silence is such an important part of my life. I feel that what it does for me is it allows me to hear myself. And we live in such a louder and louder world these days. And so it's my go-to when I am feeling overwhelmed, stressed, not sure which direction to go. 99% of the time, it means that I need to go within and just be quiet and clear all the distractions so that I can hear myself. I'm an only child, so I spent a lot of time alone as a child and just in silence, hearing myself. And so it's something that I absolutely crave, and I feel out of balance if I don't have it. So yeah, silence is such a powerful tool that we all have.
I love it. Great response. Going deep. Love it. Pua, how about you?
For me, I think of two things. One, kind of like Kimi, as a natural introvert, and people are always really surprised to hear that we're actually both very introverted. But to re-energize, silence is important, and just kind of being alone with myself actually gives me more energy rather than like a crowd is fun, but it really drains me. So in that way, very similar to Kimi, I use silence to just re-energize. And I also find silence to be like that third person in a conversation that pulls truth out of people. That's the question, rather than saying, when they hesitate, rather than following up right away or pushing or trying to pull something out of them, that silence actually is really powerful and allows and kind of gives the other person permission to sit in that pause, reflect on what they want to say, and pulls out almost a deeper truth in them. And I used to be very uncomfortable with this as a kid. I remember teachers would ask you questions and they would just, like, if you weren't sure, rather than moving on to the next person, like if you don't say anything, you're like, please move on. And they just wait for you. Yeah. And it really forces you to, look within and understand that you have the answer, the answer, because they want an answer from you. They believe you have it. Yeah. So that's inspired me in my life and our coaching to bring that into practice.
Wow.
answer.
That was deep. That was deep. Wow. I love it. I love it. So we're going to get more and more into silence throughout this, but thank you for sharing both of that on those opinions. And in terms of what you are working on today, why don't you fill in the audience with all that you're up to, best life ever, broke ass to badass, like all this cool stuff that you guys got going on.
Sure, we love talking about this. Well, yeah, so our company is Best Life Ever. Mm-hmm. And we joke around that it's like, be careful what you name your company, because then it's like this constant reminder. And actually, it's a beautiful thing, right? Yeah. Because it's been this like constant inner check for us, like, okay, are we living our best life ever? Mm-hmm. And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes it's no. And when it's no, that's a sign for us to reinvent, to figure out, to have some silence, go within and ask ourselves, how do we want to shift?
Because that's easier than changing our business name.
And so our business has taken many different forms over the years. We used to focus primarily on productivity, time, and energy training. We worked a lot with corporations as well. But as we love it. We are productivity nerds, as you said earlier. We love helping people to work smarter, not harder. But one really big shift that we made in our business was shifting from working in the corporate world to working with entrepreneurs. And yes, and you can see like that is what we asked ourselves that question at one point when we were there in our heels and our business outfits and
in our slacks.
Oh, our slacks. So many slacks.
Who have we become?
And now look what we get to come to work in.
Yeah. And so, what we found was that we would be, and we loved this work, and it was our best life ever for a long time, but we would find that we would go into a corporation and be brought in as time management coaches, really. And really what we found was that most people don't have time management issues, actually. They have inspiration.
Hate their jobs.
Yeah, they have inspiration issues, right? So lack of inspiration. We all know, like, look at you, you're doing a 12-hour marathon. Like,
do what you love, you could do it forever.
Exactly. And so, yes, we are really good. Like, we can help people to hate their jobs less, but that's not our best life ever. And we needed to get really real with ourselves and say, who do we want to work with? Who are we here to serve? And it was one of the biggest shifts that we've made in our business to say, okay, we want to work with the people that have said hell yeah to their big dreams, and decided that they're going to take that leap, or that they're ready to take that leap. And it's what we did for ourselves. So it's so in alignment with what we believe in. And we were helping people to create more time and energy and freedom in their lives. And what better way, if you feel the calling, than to create a badass online business? You will doing something you love is going to create more time, more energy, more just freedom in your life, that you can just jump out of bed and feel excited. And so that's what we do now. We help entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to build the badass businesses and lives of their dreams. So we have a course called Broke Ass to Badass. It's not just broke ass in financially, but broke ass thinking, broke ass spirit, right? Just all of that, and transforming into like owning your badassery. So again, very intentional. We named our company Broke Ass to Badass. So now our program and our podcast, Broke Ass to Badass. So now it's like, are we thinking in a broke ass way right now, or are we thinking like badasses? So that is our new filter through which everything goes through to make sure that we're living our best life ever as badasses in the world and helping others to do the same.
I love it. I love it. How has that best life ever mentality and mantra, stayed as a core part of from broke ass to badass? Like, how does that work?
Broke Ass to Badass is our vehicle. All good. Yeah, sorry. Someone else. The door's clear. Is our vehicle to help entrepreneurs create their best life ever. And every iteration of our business from start to finish has been in service to people creating their best life ever. It started through one-on-one, very personal development coaching, then corporations, right? Helping teams, employees live their best life ever at work. And now we're helping entrepreneurs to live their best life ever. And really kind of the conundrum that we bump up against in this current version of our business is entrepreneurs start out excited and on this, they're like, I love this so much. I'm going to make a business out of it. And that is my best life. And I'm going to go, I'm going to love every day because I love my business. And then all of a sudden they have to spend the money to invest in these things. And then they come up against these challenges, and then maybe they blow their savings. Maybe their relationships start to suffer, and slowly their business sucks the life out of them, and it becomes their worst life ever. That is heartbreaking to us. Like, if we can help people to either never experience that ideally, or experience it less or for a shorter amount of time, because there is value. We talk about the power of broke and how that, you know, if you want it bad enough, like being broke will help you to hold you accountable and push you forward. But also, we don't want you to resent the thing that you once loved so dearly. So that's really part of our mission, and creating the best life ever for entrepreneurs, and help them to always feel like they're living their best life ever, even when they're kind of navigating the challenges of owning a business.
Wow. That's powerful. That's super powerful, because like it's just this place of commitment that you come from knowing and experiencing that heartbreak. So let's go back a little bit. I want to rewind, and I'm sure you guys hit some rock bottom moments where you hated your business, because like you have this new place to stand from, where I get you say I get you, I get what you're going through, I felt that pain. So take us back to those moments where, you know, either in your own lives solo, or, you know, just growing up, like how did we get to where we are today? What were some of those transformational moments that really shaped your journey? We'll start with Kimi. How about you?
Wow. Well, like every story, we all have these winding stories that lead us to where we are. And when I think specifically about our journey together as entrepreneurs, there was a lot of, as Pua said, we started out really like, what is it, doe-eyed and just kind of like naive of like, oh, we're just going to have a podcast and it'll be so fun and we'll just talk about what we...
Lots of money, just having a podcast.
Money will just show up through the podcast. Well, actually, that's not really how it works. We realized after. It was way more, for sure, it was way more challenging and complicated than we thought in the beginning. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't fun along the way, and that it wasn't necessary for us to become who we are today. And we're still growing. I mean, so when I think about some of the challenging stuff that we've experienced, certainly there's the money stuff. Oh, good Lord. You know, there's a lot of money stuff. Like entrepreneurship is personal development. Like if you want to, expand in all areas of your life, become an entrepreneur.
Yep, that's it.
And so, yes, there's that for sure. But it was also the lack of clarity. Like that was so sticky and heavy as we went through it, because we really needed the first few years working together to know what the heck we wanted to teach about and to how we wanted to serve the world. And Pua, I keep quoting her because she said this thing the other day, and she said that...
She's like, what?
She's like, what?
I only know because she quoted me yesterday, but I didn't even remember
that clarity gives you freedom. And it's so true. We were so blurry and fuzzy in the beginning, and that's okay. And I think that if we could talk to our past selves, we would say, like, just, trust that this stickiness, this fuzziness, like the more committed you are to work through this, it's going to lead to your best life ever, your best business ever. And it just ends up being such a more winding path than you think it's going to be, but it's so beautiful. And it's so, right, it's like that saying, when we look back, we see now like how the dots connect. We see how fitness training, having that idea idea of how to take care of our bodies. And then it all leads into what we do. And then the productivity training. Oh, wow. Now we can help people to not have their businesses implode upon themselves. Mm-hmm. And then, oh my gosh, all the financial struggles and the heartache and the pain we went through. Oh, well, now we can help people to not be broke ass and go to badass. Like, it all makes sense. But when you're in it, man, oh God, have somebody around you that can pull you up when you're ready to throw in the towel, because that's what it's all about. I know, hands down, I would not be here still talking about best life ever and broke ass. Like, without her next to me, no way. I don't know, I'd be curled up in a ball somewhere on the ground.
So Pua has been a source of inspiration, accountability partner, and just like your best friend along this journey as well. So that's so beautiful. And Pua, how about you? What's your side of the story and the journey?
I mean, everything she said. That's so true. Having Kimi, who, thank God, I don't know how this happened, but I know that it was fate for us to become business partners and meet when we did and how we did and where we did. Because anytime that I was, and I SHIT you not that this is true. Our emotional like roller coasters went like this. Wow. So anytime that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to keep going. I can't pay my bills. This is so hard. I just need to get a job. Like, where should I apply? Kimi would be like, she'd have the rope in the well pulling me out. And then when she was like in it up to her neck, and I pull her out, and it was just so crazy. Like our optimism and pessimism were like totally balanced. But and we have those moments, and for us, and I'll get back to the question, but for us to be that vehicle for others, that's part of what motivates us to do what we do. As coaches, we talk to entrepreneurs who are where we were a year ago, 3 years ago, and they don't have someone else. They usually are solopreneurs. And so for us to be like, you know what, sister, like, or brother, like, this is really irritating advice, but you got to just keep going. Keep doing the thing. Keep writing your blog every week. I know it's not bringing you money yet, but it will, right? Keep reinventing yourself. Keep finding people and companies that inspire you, that motivate you. And that's what we did for each other. So anyway, well, that kind of answers the question, actually.
Yeah,
I think that's my answer.
That's gold. So what was, we'll go with Pua first. What was one of the hardest lessons that you learned, like, from this process of growing through these challenges?
Well, I don't know if it was a hard lesson, but it was a valuable lesson. And it was to, and again, Kimi, being the person that she is, like, helped to reiterate that this was important, but to do what feels good, do what feels right, and don't do what feels sticky. And at first, like, when you first start out on a business, you're not all you, right? Like, you're kind of copying people out there who are doing similar work in an effort to not recreate the wheel. And so for a long time, we were coaching the way we saw other people coaching, pricing the way we saw other people pricing. Then we moved into corporate because other people told us there was a lot of money there, and what we could do was really valuable there. And for us to really kind of exercise the muscle to know when something starts to not feel totally aligned with who we are and what we want to do.
That's good.
And it can be challenging, because as humans who have grown up in the era that we have, we were kind of taught to persevere and,
suck it up.
Suck it up. Like, you get there eventually, but don't quit. Like, you're a quitter if you stop what you're doing and you start over. And really, that's just completely not true. As long as you are always aware, always open to reinvention, and following what feels good. That's really it. And so for us, every time our business went through some sort of reinvention, we would say, well, this feels sticky. Why does it feel sticky? Why don't we enjoy this as much as we used to? And then we'd really look deep into it, ask ourselves really big, impactful questions, and find out from there where we want to go next. Even when we started working with entrepreneurs and we were still working with corporate, and we had this membership service, that we loved. I mean, we said it on our podcast, we're never going to stop doing this. And then like the next week we were like, this feels weird, let's stop. But I mean, so that for us, like to kind of go against the grain of what we've been taught our entire lives was kind of different and a little bit challenging, but it was the best lesson we've ever taught ourselves.
Wow. Wow, amazing. What about you, Kimi? What was the hardest lesson for you to learn?
Hardest lesson. Yeah, I don't know about hard. I kind of feel like with Pua too, it's like every lesson has been so valuable. So another really valuable lesson for sure for us is learning to like not be a-holes to ourselves as our own bosses.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, right? Like as entrepreneurs, especially if we've, I feel like, we've both spent time in the corporate world and working for other people, and we're kind of recovering from that a little bit. And we have to keep reminding ourselves, like every like time constraint, every like our schedule, like anything that we don't like about it is completely self-inflicted. Right? Like how funny is that? Like we have to really step back sometimes and be like, we're like, oh my God, I can't stand the way our schedule is so overwhelming. It's like, who makes your schedule? We make our schedule. So there's only one place that we need to look if there's nobody else to blame, which is wonderful. Like there are many times in this journey where we're like, okay, well, gosh, this thing is not making money like we thought it would. What should we do? Should we get I don't know. There's nothing, we can't do anything. And actually we could have gone and gotten a job at any point, but we were choosing not to. Right. Yes. So we have to remind ourselves, like so much of our pain is self-inflicted limitations that we put upon ourselves. And when we start really recognizing how much freedom we have, everything becomes, it's so much more empowering. We're like, we are choosing to stick it out. We are choosing to want to do this. We are choosing to have our schedule look like a mess right now. And if we want to change it, we can choose to change it too, which is actually what we just did for ourselves yesterday.
Yeah, love it.
So funny. It's like, here we are. So we're always learning. We're always coaching each other through this stuff. And there is that tendency as humans where we want to, we all have a little bit of victim in us. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like, oh my gosh, like I hate my schedule right now. Like, why do I feel so overwhelmed by it? It's like, well, because we made it that way. And so just constantly reminding ourselves that and laughing about it and being able to recognize that every single thing in our lives is there because we have chosen it to be on some level.
And what I hear in that is like with the best life ever philosophy, everything that's out of alignment with that, you become more and more hyper aware of it, and it's like you start getting irritated and agitated because you're not in alignment with that. And then you hear like the gremlin or the monkey mind or the chatter start coming up, and it's like, man, this sucks, blah 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 blah, and like that starts getting louder and louder until you remember, hey, I'm creating my best life ever. I'm responsible for what I'm creating, what I'm choosing. That personal responsibility is so powerful. I'm sure you guys teach it to your clients, like how you show up, how you see life is your choice, right? I know we teach it to our clients. We give them that personal responsibility, that self accountability, because like who's going to hold you accountable? Like you hold yourself accountable to your dreams. And of course, ask people for help, lean on people like Kimi and Pua and myself for accountability or performance coaching or whatever it might be, if you're not able to keep yourself disciplined and seek those outside resources so that you can be the top performer. And at the end of the day, it comes down to your own personal responsibility, your own like source. It's your power. Like that's your source of power by saying, you know what? I own this. I own that my schedule sucks and I don't like it and I'm going to do something about it. I own that, my money isn't the way that I want it to be right now, and I'm going to freaking do something about it. I'm going to find a solution. I'm going to adjust my schedule, my work ethic, my programming, my pricing. But just to come from this place of, I know victory is ahead if I keep moving forward, versus the victim of, man, this sucks, and focusing on the problem, focus on the solution, focus on the destination where you want to go, and you'll create that momentum. So I love that you guys are focused on that as well. And I want to talk a little bit more about the productivity and leveraging our time and our energy and effort without like overwhelming ourselves. How do we take it to the next level without adding more onto the plate? What's your guys' take on that?
Yeah. So just like backing up like 14 seconds, just to kind of reiterate what you just said. The best life ever is creating, and this totally goes perfectly into your next question. It is creating a life by design, not by default. And what we have come across so much, and I feel like entrepreneurs are living in the matrix. Like we are in this, we're in this world where we aren't controlled by anybody but ourselves, and no one is, but people don't know that. People blame things on their boss, blame things on their situation, blame things on their, job, parents, whatever. And it can feel like we're just going with the flow and living by default. And you wake up to your alarm, and then you brush your teeth, and you go to work, and you come home, and then you eat dinner, and then you go to bed. And like that is one way to live of many. And when you can plug into the matrix and design your life, you get to choose every bit of it. And so the best life ever is about awareness, and awareness is what allows you to implement things like productivity strategies. Be mindful of your time, be mindful of your energy. So for us, that's the foundation of what we teach. Awareness. Always.
Get off autopilot, get off, being sold someone else's dream or paradigm about how to live life and live this existence that we have. It's like precious. You have the choice. So when you say, okay, I have the choice, now all these different pathways of productivity, of, time management, of money management, whatever, become available because we said, okay, I'm not going to live that paradigm. I'm going to choose a new paradigm. I create my reality.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've created actually several systems, but we do a weekly check-in where we ask ourselves various questions to prompt that awareness and remind us of what our big vision is for our life. And every quarter or so, we actually do a big vision process with each other, with ourselves, for our personal life, our professional life. And then every week we create a touchstone to check back in with that vision and stay in alignment and keep creating the awareness around, whatever it is that we want. Why are we doing what we do every day? It's not by accident, it's by choice. And so we can give you all the productivity, time, and energy strategies in the world, but if you don't have that awareness, if you don't know why you do what you do, then you're just being busy when you think you're being productive rather than purposeful.
So what's the fastest way to inventory our awareness, like to grasp that skill, to like start executing on that discipline habit? How do we start living that?
Sure. Well, one of our favorite strategies is to just get really clear about what you're doing every day. With just writing down simply, like, what are you doing from the moment your eyes open to the moment they close? And there's resistance that comes up because like, oh my gosh, I can't track everything that I'm doing. It's going to take so much time and I don't have time. And so, but it's like a stitch in time saves nine. So by taking a little bit of time and intention to really see what it is that you're doing, how you're currently spending your time, from that, then you can tweak and streamline and really empower yourself so that you end up saving a huge amount of time. So that's a great place to start, is just, what are you doing all day? And of course, each day is going to look a little bit different. The really powerful thing that happens when you do this too, and you get it written down, is that becomes then, you get to look at that and say, okay, on this list, what do I love doing? This is like, you know that book, the Magical Art of Tidying Up, that's so popular? Like
the life-changing magic of tidying up, that Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo, that's
my favorite.
So it's like that, but with your schedules, like all the things that you do, like just put them all in a pile, like be able to see everything that you do. And then one by one, ask yourself, like, do I like this thing? Why am I doing it? Does it have to be me that's doing it? And do I want to keep this in my life? Right. So it's just that inventory, just like we would do a physical inventory. It's an inventory of all the things that you have going on in your life. And one of the things that we see with entrepreneurs often is that, especially when we're starting out, right, we have this mindset. And maybe it comes from that whole thing of like, the customer's always right. Maybe it comes from, we want money. Maybe it comes from whatever. We work with clients. Sometimes we begin working with coaches and their calendars are open 24/7. And then they feel really overwhelmed and frustrated by their schedule that they created.
And they resent their clients who book calls on their open calendar.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh God, not another client, not another breakthrough call. So we instead like to, like in our program, it's the first week, one of the things that we do is we have you look at your ideal schedule. Like, what does your ideal schedule look like? And it's a tool that, like, we just went back to our ideal schedule because we weren't feeling like it was our best life ever. And so what day do you want off? What day do you want to be working? And you know, what days where is your energy the highest? That's the other thing too. It's like, find those pockets of time where you're really on fire and do your most brain demanding work at that time, and then leave the lower level stuff for another time. So those a lot, but those are a few strategies that we really love for starting to bring some awareness to how you want to live your life.
I love it. And I love how simple life is. Everyone listening and watching, can you just say, you know, I love how simple life is. Can you just acknowledge that life is simple? Can you just admit that to yourself finally, like once and for all, that life is simple, and stop making it so freaking complex? Because again, you have choice, you have responsibility. This is your paradigm. It's your matrix. You get to design whatever you want, right? So stop making life so difficult and just do the task, and don't make it so overwhelming. Don't make up a story of it. You're going to have stuff come up that's going to happen, but just say, okay, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done by this time. Promise someone, promise yourself, and get it done. If you intend on really getting that awareness, getting that power back, because that is such a great technique. Number one is taking an inventory of what am I doing right now? Just catalog. All you have to do is write down what you're doing. It really does not take any mental activity to like create something to say, think, you know, like multiplying out quadratic formula. No, it's by writing down what you're doing like every 15 minutes, not rocket science. And then the second thing is to really just have a vision of what you want your day to look like so that you can get in alignment with that if you're not right now. So I love that. And I'm curious, like, what is the thing that you feel entrepreneurs need most these days? You know, in the process of going from broke ass to badass, is there one thing that you're seeing, or a couple things that you're seeing from time and time again, that these people don't have, or they're not realizing, or you just want to slap them in the face every time they do this? Like, is there anything like that that comes up for you?
They need to have more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I think
Great
people
answer.
get so wrapped up in all the nitty-gritty details of their business, and we hate the word hustle, because people just think that if you're not making the money, if you're not living the lifestyle that you desire, then you're not hustling hard enough, then you can't stop working. When if you're just having a little bit more fun in your work and outside of your work, like, your vibration is so much higher. You'll attract people to you. You'll attract abundance to you. And honestly, like, that was a lesson that we're super fun, but I will tell you that there was a period where, like, I was not fun because I was so in my own stuff. I was like, I couldn't get out of it. And I was so depressed. And it wasn't until, like, we were like, we need to start having fun. Like this is not who we are. When you just open your eyes, simplify, as you said, and just get out there and, like, put a smile on your face and have some freaking fun, life gets better. It just does. And your business gets better, and you serve more people, and you have more fun doing it. I was going to say something else because I'm just having too much fun.
I love that answer. That's so perfect. It's so true. Yeah, we get so stuck. And the other thing that people, I think, really stops people is the how. Like, and the how, like, that is in your head. Anytime you hear yourself, I don't know how to do it, I want to do this, but I don't know how, that's in your head, because we live in an amazing time. There is so much information, like, Google it. Okay. If the question how comes up, Google it. It's so simple how much information we have access to now, and how much support, how many look at you. This is like a beautiful free content out there in the world for 12 hours straight. Like, it is not that wonderful saying, right? Not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. So anytime you're feeling stuck in the how, it's because you're stuck in your head, and it's lack of creativity and lack of resourcefulness that is holding you back, not anything else.
Yeah. And there's so many people who are saying things like, I want to write a book. I want to have a podcast. I want to have this service. I want to have this product. And what takes you from wanting to have something and having it. Like, I want to write a book. Start writing your book. And then you don't want to write your book. You're writing a book.
Right.
Like, do you want to have this product? Okay, take the action. Take one action, because then you don't want it, you're doing it. And that, I think, also the whole vision board phenomenon. Like, I see the value. I don't want to speak poorly of it, because I know that it's fun and it really is valuable. But what I can't stand is when people create a vision board, put it up on their wall, and then they think it's going to come true without taking the action. You have to take inspired, beautiful, bold action that you love, but it has to be action, right?
And clarity comes from action too. So for us, doing the work, getting in there, and even like doing the wrong work, the work that was not aligned with who we were, we needed to do that in order to get clarity on what we really wanted to do. So if you keep holding yourself back, waiting for clarity to land on you, then you're going to be...
Oh, I just remembered.
She has something to say.
I was saying for 5 minutes ago.
Go ahead.
No, finish.
Clarity just landed on her. Did you see
I
that?
know.
Okay. I'm so glad I remembered, because this is so fun. So a few weeks ago, we did a podcast episode about this. And what we also did ourselves, and now what we recognize in other people, is we're often on this path, right? And we always kind of are doing the things that we need to do, so that when we achieve them, then we can be the person that we want to be, right? And so there's that like trajectory of, maybe we want to be this person, we want to live this way, and then we have to climb this mountain to get there. When in reality, and this is where like it ties into being fun already, right? Like, oh, I work so hard, I'm going to have fun later when I make this much money a month or whatever. But if you can find a way, in whatever way you can, to be the person that you want to be today, right now, before you've done all of these things, it will create a clarity, alignment, authenticity in whatever you do, so that when you get to that next point, you're just more of who you want to be, right? So it's all about really authenticity, clarity, and alignment, right? Because we don't need to wait to live the life that we want to live later, because we don't know what later looks like. Later may not come. Later may look very different than what we think it will look like. And if we wait to be that person, it may never happen. Right?
How can we start being the person in the future now? Like, what does that take?
Well, I think it's like, think about what are the things that you think that you're chasing, right? In life, like, what are you going after? What is it? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? What is it that you want to experience? And really sit with that. What are the feelings? Is it freedom? Is it abundance? Is it, sexiness? Is it more fun in your life? Whatever it is, what is that feeling that you are looking to experience? Whatever you think that when you achieve this thing, you will feel that. Then simply make a list of how can you experience that feeling today? How can you experience that feeling today? Because as Pua said, we're never promised it tomorrow. And what's the worst that'll happen if you find some way to experience that today? Well, guess what? Your vibration will draw that thing to you even faster. Or you may find that you don't even need that thing anymore because you're already feeling the freaking thing that you were going after, right? So that's a recipe for living your best life ever, is to find ways to experience that thing that you're after, what that feeling is going to bring you, or the feeling it's going to bring you. Find ways to experience it today.
Wow, it's beautiful. So it's like getting clear on who that person would be. What's that? First off, we got to know where we want to go, who we want to become. If you don't have clarity on the vision, it's never going to happen, right? You don't just like wander out of a ship harbor and end up at your destination. You don't just say, hey, let's float out of here and see what happens. We'll get there. No, that doesn't happen. Getting clear on that vision. And then, okay, so who is this person? What do they do? What are the things that they have? What do they say? What kind of feelings and emotions do they have? Okay, I got a picture of that. Then, okay, how do I experience experience that now? How do I experience the joy of, instead of owning a Lamborghini, maybe it's I want to drive a Lamborghini, test it out, and I can do that today. I can save up whatever amount of money or figure out how to go to a test racetrack and experience that today. Or in the future, I'm going to have this dream woman or man my life. Okay, how can I experience that today? Well, maybe it's going on dates. Maybe it's taking those small actions. What could I do today? I could try to get a date today. That could happen, right? Like that's a possibility. So it's like those micro actions that we feel are connected to that person who we're committed to becoming, and then we get to experience that now, and we start finding out, is that really what I want or not?
Right. And the emotional connection that you have to this desire, if you can find a way to connect to it emotionally within your heart, within your gut today, you get to, it's almost like that. The expectation reduces joy, right? So if you have this expectation that you're going to achieve eventually, more often than not, when you achieve it, you're disappointed or you just want more, right? Like you're not satisfied. So if you find a way to connect to whatever that emotion is now, you're almost like training yourself to enjoy it. Because if you can enjoy it on a small scale, you'll enjoy it on a big scale, if you even decide that you want the big scale. Right?
And it helps us to not be so, I think both of us are recovering, very forward focused people. Let's set goal. I used to be such a goal setter. Let's go. It's always the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And it leads to this really unfulfilling, unsatisfying life, because it's you're not stopping to celebrate and enjoy where you are right now. And we know the power of this present moment. We know that this is where things are happening right now, not later, not before. It's right here. So anything that can bring us back to here and help think about, really take a moment and think about where you are today. And I guarantee you, this is you have in your life, and you have achieved in your life, and you're experiencing in your life things that you were wishing and hoping and praying for and had on your vision board how long ago, but we just brush it by, right? We don't let those moments sink in. And the more we allow those moments to sink in, the more fulfilled we feel in our lives.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. So, side note, I see you're wearing a shirt that says Magical AF, right? I love it. I love it. With a unicorn, yes. Yes. So, what we wear and the things that we write, the things that we, have as headlines, best life ever, from broke ass to badass, these are all statements of, what does it say? I can't read it.
Ever.
Oh, yes. I love it. That's so awesome. So, Kimi, I'm curious, magical, let's dive into that a little bit. What does that mean to you, and why is that for you a statement of identity of who you are?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, let's unpack this. Okay, so let's talk about magic. The reason I love the word magic and magical and just everything that feeling, because to me it is so expansive, and I feel like we are living a magical life, and that is what we want to help other people to do, right? Is to live a magical life. And what is magic? It's something that it's beyond what you think is possible. It's beyond you can't explain it, but it's amazing and it's limitless and it's infinite. Yes. And we all have that power, right? And then there are the people that would be I don't believe in magic, whatever. It's well, if you don't believe in magic, you're never going to experience it, because you create magic in your life. Wow. We are all wizards. We are all magicians. A wand once.
Yes. Like a gem, like a crystal wand. Yeah.
It was a wood wand with a little gem at the bottom.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yes, and we love it. We have in one of our big vision exercises that we do with our clients, we ask them the question, what would you do if you had a magic wand? And and then we always say, okay, first thing you do, by the way, here's a great tip. If you ever get a magic wand, ask for infinity wishes. That has to be your first. That's your
number
first
one. That's number one. Beat the game.
Right. Don't be a rookie when you get that one. So once you have your infinity wishes, and then you truly know you're limitless, what would you create for yourself? And it's so interesting, because when people do this exercise, all your BS comes up, because people are
When we're living in a world full of big dreamers, what's then possible? What will that look like? Why are we striving for that? Why are you two so committed to that?
It will heal the planet. It will heal the freaking planet. Like, for us, like, you don't step out on this bumpy road of entrepreneurship to be an a-hole. You don't step out on this road of entrepreneurship I shouldn't say that, because I'm sure some people do.
Yeah, some people are like, I want the money. Screw everyone.
If that's you, there's someone out there for you, but please don't call us. But I mean, this road is challenging. Through this, like, oh, my internet connection.
It'll come back. Have faith. The magic is working. The magic is working. A magical connection. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 243. Edits. Oh my goodness. Why does it... Oh, maybe. Hey, look. You see me? Boom. Boom. Little creased right there. Ain't having that. And they're back.
Oh my God, sorry. Woo, we had a panic attack. Does that happen ever? Are we the
Never.
first?
Never. You're the first.
Oh, well, good. We love being the first.
First of the day.
First of the day.
I love it. Okay, so we were...
Okay.
The world.
And, oh, shoot.
Oh, no.
Wait, you're back? You're back? Back?
Are we back?
I think we're back.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're back. Okay. So, the vision of the world, what you're creating.
Yes. Dang it. It's gone. It's not gone.
Someone doesn't want us having this conversation
No,
about
I got
healing
it.
the world.
I got it. I got you.
Powers that be.
Yeah, and I feel like magic lives in our hearts, right? Like, this is where it's like warm and the magic brews, and this is the magic killer because our brains are very useful. Our brains help us to survive. That's why we have them, right? We learn, like, way back when, okay, well, there's a tiger and he ate my friend, and my brain remembers that. So when I see a tiger, I'm going to run because I want to survive. Our brains are for survival, but they love to tell our hearts that our hearts are stupid. So today, since we don't have to worry
You're
about
stupid, heart.
yeah, right? Like,
Stupid.
you're dumb. That's not right. And our heart's like, oh, but it is right. I know it's truth. And now we don't really have too many lions chasing us. So we get to turn this off a lot more often. And that is also something that we need to practice and to kind of unleash the magic that we have inside. And so for us to just give people the permission that they don't actually need to listen to their heart, like that is magical. And that to us is a huge responsibility, that for us to not go out and do that, that is like, we're failing our purpose. So, best life ever, unleash magic. What else do we do?
Yeah.
Wow. So can everyone connected to their hearts, healing the planet, really living into infinite possibilities of magic. When we're in that realm, it's like we truly have access to this life. We weren't put here to be conditioned and like to be a cattle, to be a sheep, to like go with the herd, that kind of thing. We're here to have an experience, to create our own experience, to let our source guide us. And our brain telling us what's safe and not safe is not our source guiding us. That's like, trying to keep us small or keep us programmed and safe. And we have the opportunity to choose our heart and choose it again and again and again and again. And usually that takes a lot of discipline and practice, because most of us have become disconnected with our hearts. So what do you two do to become more connected with your hearts and your childlike self? And I know you mentioned have fun, but is there any specific like things that you do?
Yeah, you mentioned discipline, and it one of the things, this comes up a lot with our clients, and they find themselves very stuck in their head, moving kind of at a pace where they wish they were moving a little bit faster.
Water!
Whoa. Well, he's here.
Gallon, I'm here all day. Come on.
Another one that you pee in on the other side?
Oh my God.
One gallon a day. I know.
Yeah. So when people find that they're like, and it's weird, like the tigers of this day and age are like, I'm scared to do a Facebook Live, or I'm scared I'm going to send this email out and there's typos, so I have to make it perfect. Like those are our lions and tigers of the day that our brain tells us like terrible things will happen if you press send on this email. It's like, no, really, like we need to get some perspective here. And the way that we can sink back into our hearts, and what we recommend to our clients all the time, is to think about the people that need your gifts, that need your service, that are suffering right now because you're worried about typos. Like, right, when you start putting it in perspective like that, we really take more ownership and responsibility for the gifts that we have within us. So it's like, who are we to be afraid to show ourselves on a Facebook Live video if the message that we have is going to heal somebody's pain? And when we get ourselves out of, like, stop looking, here in our heads and getting all stuck here, and we bring ourselves back into our heart and that service and those people that need your gifts. Oh my goodness, they need you. Think about them, connect with them. And then you're not going to need discipline. You're not going to need anything, because you're going to be so moved by that message and so moved by those people that need you now. And that's the healing of the world that we're talking about here. So if you're looking for more discipline, think about the people that you'll be serving, and it will fire you up.
Yeah, you know what I love about that is, it's like, how do you generate passion? How do you generate the desire to get into action? And it's like, get connected with who's suffering, right? And I think that's the first step. And there's also a couple more parts of this to make it effective. The second is like, how does my service solve that problem? Like, how does my service bring benefit? What's that like for them when I deliver my coaching, when I deliver my product or service, when I copyright, when I build their website? What's that like? What do they say? What are the thoughts and the feelings that they have, and how is their life better off? And then the third part that I would recommend is like, what do I do now? Taking it from, hey, I was oh man, these people are suffering, damn, I need to do something, to here's how they benefit, awesome, I really need to do something, okay, what do I do now? What's the next step? Because I think a lot of people take I know I'm supposed to be doing something and people are suffering and I'm inspired, but what do I do? So it's like, get clear on that next step. Just get clear, what is that next step? And if you do that, you'll have some awesome results. So that was awesome, Kimi. Great share. And then how about you, Pua? What do you do for fun, childlike wonder, joy, that kind of stuff?
Thank you.
Yes. You're like, what?
I mean, I know it's going to sound lame, but it's not lame because it's badass, because I love our business. So I actually find great joy in the service that we provide for others. And we hope that shows and resonates so that people, it does. And people will say, gosh, I just want to do exactly what you guys are doing. Yeah. And to me, that's like, yes, we've made it. We're able to inspire others to follow the same path in their own way. So that really brings a lot of joy and magic to my life. And kind of to go back on what you were just saying, how you can experience your life, your pain, your challenge, your story, and then relate with someone else who is also experiencing similar things, like that is like new age sales and marketing, which is like, I hate those words because they're just linked to so much trauma for people. But that is really how you market and sell your service. Yeah. Relating and vocalizing that and connecting on a deeper level. And that's actually, it sounds weird, but that's fun for us to connect with other people and connect our hearts with their hearts and their pain and bring them into the light, bring them into the solution that we have experienced to be true. So that's fun. We also, for fun, to take breaks. And we get a lot of questions about how we work as a partnership, as a team. And you know, some people will go so far as to say like, oh, you're two women. Do you ever fight? And we're like, oh, what does that even mean?
What's that even mean?
So rude. But
like, do you fight?
Like, actually we do. So to take a brain break and a physical break, Kimi and I will often go to a lunchtime jiu-jitsu class together. And what is really awesome about that is like, I mean, we don't like, I don't know. But we don't ever like, you're like, oh, I'm so mad at Kimi right now.
No,
like, I never feel that way. But when we actually physically like fight each other and try to choke each other out and like submit each other. Yeah. And so that's fun. And also like jiu-jitsu is it's almost meditative. Like you cannot be out of the present moment or else you get submitted and you go to sleep. Like, that's just the consequence. So to have something that fully takes you out of your business. Like it's not going for a run because you can think while you run. It's not going for a swim. You can think while you swim. But jiu-jitsu, like you are 100% in the moment because that's all you got. Yeah. So that's fun for us. It's a great way for us to kind of get out of our heads a little bit.
That's awesome.
The question. I'm so sorry.
That was great. It was perfect. Perfect. I love it. So we're beginning to wrap up here, and we want to know I know, right? This hour is flying freaking by. What are the final takeaways that we want our audience walking away with or really receiving from this interview?
This is my favorite thing to say always, because I believe it with all my heart.
Yes.
That if you are watching this, it's not by accident, right? So if you have come across this for like, that's magic, right? Like finding your way to this at this moment. If something here that Chris has said or Pua said or I have said has like inspired something, sparked you feel a little bit of the magic, like know that is not a mistake and know that you have the choice to take its inspired action from this point and that you are so supported. You are so supported. So yeah, I think it's so miraculous and beautiful in this day and age that we can just hear something. And if you hear something and you're like, it like gives you this feeling, it's because you recognize it as truth for you. So we're not saying anything here, like what we say doesn't matter as much as what you do from this moment. So that's on you, and we're here to support you.
I love it. So cool. So how do people stay connected with you, and what do we want them to do next?
Awesome. Yeah. So our coffee shop is our tribe on Facebook. We are there all the time. And we absolutely love our tribe. You can find it at bit.ly/BLE tribe. It's free. It's open. You just have to request entry. And there's a couple of questions. One being, have you told yourself how amazing you are today? And so now that you're watching this, tell yourself now and then ask to join so you can answer yes, because that's our favorite. We get so sad when people are like, no, join. We're like, what? No, you're amazing. So yeah, tell yourself you're amazing and then ask to join. And then definitely if you are inspired to jump on our website, we have a really awesome free download, 5 secrets to building a badass online business. So our website is bestlifeever.buzz. And we are actually in the process of hitting each of those one episode at a time on our podcast right now, which is also Broke Ass to Badass by Best Life Ever. And it's not 5 in a row. There's some interviews in between, but
yeah, be sure to catch Chris's interview.
Yeah.
It was so fun. That was so fun.
It was a blast.
Yeah, so the tribe, our download, our podcast, and then of course, if Broke Ass to Badass sounds interesting to you, we'd love to offer you a free breakthrough call. So you can also find that on our website or brokeasstobadass.com.
Legit. Everyone, definitely take action. They gave you multiple options how to do that. You can join them in their group. You can have a breakthrough call. You can just get involved with these amazing, amazing women as much as you can, because they're like so powerhouse. Listen to their podcast too, because it's freaking gold. It's so much fun, and just who they are, their energy everywhere. Both of you, you're awesome. Sending so much love. Thank you for what you do in the world, because you're superstars, and I'm excited to be on the journey with you. We are, and everyone who's listening, watching, take action, stay connected with Kimi and Pua, and you two have the best day ever, the best life ever, and we're going from broke ass to badass, baby.
Love you. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll see you soon, okay?
Bye.
All right. Take care.